Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. I am so excited for today's video because we're going to be listening to David Bowie for the first time. Obviously I know who David Bowie is, and the reason that I decided to react to this album here is because my friend made a playlist for me and it had some David Bowie songs in it, and it made me sit down and think, wait, I've never actually really listened to David Bowie before. Like, a song might come on and I might recognise it, but I've never actually sat down and listened to an album by David Bowie before or really gone out of my way to listen to his songs. So I thought, what a perfect way to, explore David Bowie than together on this channel. Quickly, just before we get into today's video, I do like to talk sometimes between the songs, so if that's not your thing, feel free to click off the video. But without further ado, let's begin with The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Market square, so many mothers sighing. News had just come over. We had 5 years left crying. News guy wept and told us Earth was really dying. Cried so much his face was wet. Then I knew he was not lying. I heard telephones, opera house, favorite melodies. I saw boys, toys, electric irons and TVs. My brain hurt like a warehouse, it had no room to spare. I had to cram so many things to store everything in there. And all the fat, skinny people, and all the tall, short people, and all the nobody people, and all the somebody people. I never thought I'd need so many people. Girl my age went off ahead, hit some tiny children. If the black hadn't have pulled her off, I think she would have killed them. A soldier with a broken arm fixed his stare to the wheels of a Cadillac. The cop knelt and kissed the feet of a priest, and the queer threw up the sight of that. I think I saw you in an ice cream parlor, drinking milkshakes cold and long.
Feels like it's getting more intense.
Smiling and waving and looking so fine. Don't think you knew you were in the song. And it was cold and it rained, so I felt like an actor. And I thought of more, and I wanted to get back there. Your face, your race, the way that you talk. I kiss you, you're beautiful. I want you to walk. We got 5 years stuck on my 5 years. What a surprise. We got 5 years. My
Drums are so good in this, by the way. I mean, that was such a good song, my god. I loved how, like, the ending just felt so built up, and you just had, like, this whole repeated thing of we've got 5 years left, and how that sort of just ascended almost the whole song. The way that I heard this song is sort of the end of the world, maybe? Like, we've got, like, the news guy wept reminds me of, like, I don't know if anyone's seen Flushed Away before, the little sign that the guy's holding, you know, like when you look back years and people were wearing these sign things and like, the world's coming to an end. That's instantaneously what the news guy wept and told us Earth was really dying, made me think about is that guy from Flushed Away who's holding the little sign thing, or just the people who held the signs, the conspiracy stuff. And then I feel as though the rest of the song, of course it's an emphasis on 5 years left, but I feel like the rest of the song is possibly talking about the things that he wish he'd done, or the things that he's experiencing in his life right now, or like fantasizing about what he wish he'd done. Perhaps, I'm not really sure, but that was a great song. Wow. The drums were so punchy in that, and then the violins at the end, oh, that was so good. Of course, though, we have got trusty Spotify with the whole AI beta thing. We'll explain more about the song. So, the song 5 Years was inspired by a dream Bowie had, in which his deceased father warned him he would die in 5 years if he ever flew again. This eerie premonition influenced the song's theme of impending doom and the urgency of time running out. Oh, damn, yeah, now that I've actually thought about it, it's sort of... I mean, of course I spoke about the world ending, but it actually makes me maybe link back to Pink Floyd and the whole theme of the dark side of the moon and how life is very short and, you know, one day it's all going to come to an end. That's kind of what that makes me think of too. In the lyrics of 5 Years, Bowie uses American slang like news guy and cop instead of British terms. This choice reflects his fascination with American culture and adds a universal feel to the song's apocalyptic theme. The track's narrative perspective shifts from a child's view to Bowie's own, directly addressing the listener and enhancing the song's emotional impact. Yeah, isn't that kind of strange? I mean, when was this album made? This album was made in the early 70s, and to think, you know, like, a lot of American stuff back then was probably like the whole great American dream thing. But now, because of the internet and just the way that life is, it's kind of funny that we don't really have a fascination around Americanisms anymore, because I feel sometimes, even like speaking to my friends from where I live, some Americanisms can kind of like come out. Like, people sometimes say high school or cops, and it's like all American words that they're using, but it's not really something that they're fixated on because, you know, social media just makes it a part of our lives. The opening line of 5 Years, pushing through the market square, is believed to reference Aylesbury's Market Square in Buckinghamshire, England. This location holds significance as it's where Bowie debuted his Ziggy Stardust persona. The song's vivid imagery paints a picture of societal breakdown, setting the stage for the album's narrative. Wow, that was a great song. I'm really excited for where this album's gonna go. It seems sort of right up my alley as well with I want to say this sort of rock-ish or like old Britpop, which is like right up my alley. So without further ado, let's just get into Soul Love.
She kneels before the grave, a brave son who gave his life to save a slogan that hovers between the headstone and her eyes, for they penetrate her grieving. You love a boy and girl, the talking new.
Oh, it's actually a brass instrument. I thought it was a guitar first.
Love so strong it tears their hearts to sleep through the fleeting hours of morning. Love is careless in its choosing, sweeping over cross and lightly. Love descends on those
I really love the bass in this.
So love, the priest that tastes the word untold of love, and how my God on high is all love. The reaching up my loneliness evolves by the blindness that surrounds him. Love is careless in its choosing, sweeping over across a baby. Love descends on those defenses.
I love these guitars.
Was part of the fusion. Inspirations have I none, just a touch of flaming love. All I have is my love of love, and love is not loving.
I love the guitar solo there. It was like really subtle. I loved how the brass instruments there got a chance to sort of have their own solo too. Something I'm noticing in a lot of these old albums that I'm listening to is the variety of instruments that I used. I don't know if I could just be thinking of this wrong, but I feel like a lot of modern music, it's just the same instruments. You know, you've got your drums, your bass, your guitar, and maybe there's a piano in there, but I feel like in a lot of this music you've got like a lot of strings used, there's brass used, and I don't know, I find music like this to be very experimental. Okay, after looking back at the lyrics and sort of listening to the vibe of the song, I get the feeling that this song is about, I mean, obviously love is what I get it, but I feel as though it's like the first time that you sort of discover that you're in love with someone, and how everything is so new and so fresh, and how sometimes you realise that love isn't necessarily enough to keep things going. And I definitely feel as though this is very apparent in this part here. All I have is my love of love, and love is not loving. And then it sort of strips back the whole song and then goes into this little bit here. I'll just show you an example.
And love is not loving.
Like, you see how there just like kind of stops? Like, I feel like that's where I sort of get that vibe from. Like, the words love is not loving, to me, just really emphasizes this. Okay, on Spotify, this is what it says. Lyrically, Soul Love explores different facets of love, from a mother mourning her son to young lovers and even spiritual love. Oh, Bowie's take on love here is pretty deep, touching on themes of loss, devotion, and the complexities of human emotion. Oh, I actually didn't realize that. So it's just on the different forms of love, basically. It doesn't have to be like romantic love. It could be friendship love or family love, and then obviously that romantic love too. Despite being a standout track on this album, Soul Love wasn't performed live very often. It made a few appearances during the US leg tour of this album, and was a regular on the 1978 Isola 2 tour. Fans who caught those performances got to experience a rare live rendition of the song. That's really cool. Okay, apparently also when he recorded this song, he managed to capture the entire song in just one take. And also, apparently on the same day, he made Moonage, Daydream, Lady Stardust, and a re-recording of the Superman. That sounds pretty good. In Soul Love, Bowie plays a saxophone solo himself. What the hell? I did not know that. I knew he like played the guitar and stuff, but I didn't realise that he just picked up the saxophone. He was known for picking up instruments and adding his own flair, and this track is a great example of that. Yeah? What the hell? I didn't even realise that. That's so sick. Okay, next up we have got Moonage, Daydream.
I'm an alligator.
Okay.
I'm a mama, papa coming for you.
I think I recognise this.
I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you. Keep your mouth shut.
What a nice bass. So good. The drums in this are really soul.
Make me, baby. Make me know you really care. Make me jump into the air. Keep your electric on me, babe. Put your ring onto my head. Press your space close to mine, love. Freak out in a Moonage daydream, oh yeah.
Okay. I can't even tell what half those instruments are.
Keep your electric on me, babe. Put your ray gun to
Those violins, man.
press your space close to my love. Freak out in a Moonage daydream, oh. Keep your electric eye on me, baby. Put your ray gun.
That's a cool effect. That echo.
Press your space close to my love.
It's probably more of a delay, isn't it?
Moonage daydream, oh yeah. Freak out, far out, in out.
That's insane. Wow. The only words I have for that is just, wow, that was totally insane. I got goosebumps at the end there towards the whole solo part. There's just so many intricate details in that was just, I don't know, really built on the song for me. There's something about the guitar tone from the 70s. I don't know what it is, but I just love it so much. I feel like it's almost never been replicated, I feel like, to this day. There's just something about the guitar tone of, you know, the whole Pink Floyd era and David Bowie's album, this one, that I don't know, I just love it. It's like so gritty and distorted, yet also really clean and clear as well. This song made me just think totally of like space, I guess. And not only is the song called Moonage Daydream, but saying things such as put your ray gun to my head makes me think of sort of a futuristic kind of thing. Obviously, press your space face close to mine. It feels like falling in love in space, maybe? I don't really know. I just kind of enjoyed more of the instrumentality of this song than sometimes the lyrics. So apparently before this became a staple on this album, this song had a different life. David Bowie first recorded it in 1971 with a short-lived band called Arnold Corns. This version was rougher around the edges and didn't quite capture the magic Bowie was aiming for. Yeah, actually that's a really good description of it. It's quite a magical song, isn't it? So he re-recorded it later that year with his backing band, the Spiders from Mars, giving it the iconic sound we know today. It's a great example of how Bowie wasn't afraid to revisit and refine his work until it felt just right. That's insane. So the album's called The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, but the band was called Spiders from Mars, which is why it says and. I actually didn't know that. That's really cool. I just thought it was like a really long album name. So this song wasn't actually an immediate hit. It gained more recognition over time and has since been featured in various films and media, like in 2014 Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't actually know it was in that movie. I mean, I guess it makes perfect sense. I did say it had a space theme. That would make total sense. The song's inclusion introduced it to a whole new generation. My generation. Proving that Bowie's music continues to resonate and find new audiences decades after its release. I think that this is something that's so beautiful about this channel, and I think not just this channel, I don't want to sound egotistical, but just about music in general, is the generations that it can cascade down. That's sort of a reason why I wanted to create this channel, is to listen to old albums myself and to not only educate myself on older music, but to potentially educate and, help other young people like myself find amazing music like this. Because I found, especially myself, I do this very often, I can fall into a genre of music or into an artist or band that I really like, and then I tend not to sometimes explore much else. And I found that this channel has totally just allowed me to go off the rails with what I want to listen to, in terms of, I've listened to like dance music from Justice and Daft Punk, which I just never thought I would ever listen to, really. And then also I've listened to bands like Radiohead, and then discovered that I really love old hip-hop, MF Doom. And I just think that this is, that's something that's beautiful about music, is the fact that no matter really when and where it was made, it can still resonate with anyone of any age. The song's title is as trippy as the lyrics. Some think it reflects Bowie's fascination with space and the unknown, fitting perfectly with the Ziggy Stardust persona. It's like an invitation to escape reality and dive into a cosmic fantasy, which was a big part of Bowie's appeal during that era. In the recording of this song, Mick Ronson's guitar solo is a standout moment. Yes, absolutely. Bowie had a unique way of communicating his vision for solos. He'd draw shapes and lines to represent the sound he wanted. For this track, he sketched a fat megaphone-type shape that ended in sprays of disassociated and broken lines. Ronson took that abstract drawing and turned it into the epic solo we hear on the track. It's a cool peek into their creative process and how they translated visual ideas into music. It's the same as Radiohead, isn't it? They often had so many visuals to sort of go along with what they were already creating. Next up, guys, we have Starman. Is this the most streamed song on the album, Starman? Yes, it is. So I may recognise this one.
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh. I leaned back on my radio. Oh, oh. Some cat was laying down some rock and roll, that is all he said. Then the loud sound, it seemed to fade. Came
That
back like a
bass.
slow voice on a wave of fade. That weren't no DJ, that was hazy cosmic jive.
recognize this part.
Waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie.
Is there any drums in this?
Switch on the TV, we may pick him up on channel 2. Look out your window, I can see his light. If we can sparkle, he may land tonight.
I hear a snare.
Tell your papa, or he'll get us locked up inside. There's a Starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a Starman waiting in the sky.
God, I love those double vocals there.
'Cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie. Starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a Starman waiting in the sky. He's told us not to blow it, 'cause he knows it's all worthwhile. He told me, let the children lose it, let the children use it, let all the children boogie.
Oh, yes. Again, the classic 70s fading out at the end of the track. You gotta love it. This song just makes me think of Aliens. Like, that's literally what it makes me think of. I only recognise the chorus in this. Like, there's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he'd think he'd blow our minds. That's the only part of the song that I feel as though I recognise. I mean, it is very catchy, so that could probably be why. But I don't feel like I recognise like any other part of the song. This, to me, is very interesting because it is the most streamed song off this album, but I don't know, it feels like a very Beatlesy song. I don't really know how to explain what I mean by this, but even just the overdubbing in the chorus just felt very Beatles-esque. Obviously, David Bowie kind of grew up in the same space as the Beatles in the sense of, I think they're very similar ages. I could be really wrong with that, I'm so sorry if I am. I feel as though like the Beatles and David Bowie sort of made music in the same like genre together, in the same like years together, not like together, but if you know what I mean. They were both musicians at the same time, is what I'm trying to say. Not communicated very well from me. But anyways, this song isn't Ziggy Stardust himself, but an alien sending messages of hope to Earth young through the radio. Bowie envisioned Ziggy as the earthly messenger for this extraterrestrial being, bringing a message of salvation. I'm sorry, I just have to say this. This album, the whole concept of it to me is just so epic. Like, to write the first song off of a dream that you had, and then to continue on with like this theme that you've sort of set down in stone to make based off of space, it seems like, is just insane to me, that how you can just stick with it. When Bowie performed this song on Top of the Pops in 1972, it was a defining moment. His flamboyant outfit and the way he draped his arm around guitarist Mick Ronson shocked some viewers but captivated countless others. Future stars like The Cure's Lol Tolhurst felt personally addressed, saying it was a call to arms that sent him on his musical path. That is just so epic. Wow. The chorus of Starman has a similar ring to it because Bowie drew inspiration from Over the Rainbow. The soaring Starman line mirrors Judy Garland's Somewhere from the classic tune. Bowie even played up this connection during live shows, singing There's a Starman over the rainbow. That's so cool. So apparently this song was actually a last-minute addition to the album. RCA Records wanted a hit single, so Bowie quickly wrote this, replacing a Chuck Berry cover on the album. It turned out to be a game changer, becoming one of his most iconic songs. Isn't it crazy? Like, something that just seems like such a small decision in the moment can just totally, like, change everything forever. Like, the fact that this was just like, I did a cover, I'll just whack this song in instead, and then it just ends up being like one of your most famous songs ever, just shows sometimes how, like, small decisions you think are meaningless can actually be, like, such a big thing. Next up, we have got It Ain't Easy.
When you climb to the top of the mountain, look out over the sea.
Oh my god.
Think about the place perhaps where a young man could be. Then you jump back down to the rooftops. Look out over the town. Think about all of the strange things circulating round. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to get to heaven and go down. Well, all the people have got their problems.
I love this part.
That ain't nothing new. With the help of the good Lord, we can all pull on through. We can all pull on through. Get there in the end. Sometimes they'll take you right up and sometimes down again. It ain't easy.
Oh, I love the fullness of this.
Satisfaction, satisfaction. Keep me satisfied. I got the love of a coochie woman. She calling from inside. She's a calling from inside, trying to get to you. For all the woman really wants, you can give her something too. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to get to heaven when you go down. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy to get to heaven when you go
That felt very bluesy there. Okay, wow, what an amazing song. Even though this song was on the shorter end of things, for some reason that instrument that was going bum 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 bum, obviously that's not the right pitch, but it made it feel as though it was like slowing the song down almost. I don't really know if what I'm saying sort of makes sense, but it felt like that instrument was slowing the song down. And it also, the same instrument that I'm talking about, it feels very Baroque-esque. I don't know, there was something about there was just something about the way it was plucked or played or the sound of it that just reminded me of learning about Baroque in school. So apparently this song wasn't actually originally his song. It was written by American songwriter Ron Davies and first appeared on his 1970 album Silent Song Through the Land. Bowie recorded his version during the Hunky Dory sessions in July 1971, but it didn't make the cut for that album. Instead, it found its place on the Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spies from Mars, adding a unique flavour to the album. Oh, interesting. So apparently this is the only cover on this album, despite being recorded during the Hunky Dory sessions. It was chosen to be part of this album, possibly to add a different texture to the album's narrative. Yeah, like when you think about the whole course of the album, this feels very different. I mean, it does have the elements of, the rock and roll guitars there, but in terms of the rest of the song, it is a very different vibe. Before its inclusion on this album, It Ain't Easy was part of a promotional album known as Be Bow Promo. This was a collection of recordings by Bowie and Donna Gillespie, presented privately by their manager Tony DeFries in August 1971 to attract interest from record labels. This version of the version of It Ain't Easy on Bow Promo is nearly identical to the one later appeared on this album. Okay, very interesting. I didn't actually realise that this was a cover. This is actually something I feel as though we don't really do much of nowadays. Like, whenever musicians sort of write their own music, it's all, their own songs. I feel as though there's not really many covers implemented in things anymore. But going back to people such as, David Bowie, Jeff Buckley, they had a lot more covers on their stuff, which I just think really varies up an album. Next up, we've got Lady Stardust.
The makeup on his face, laughed at his long black hair, his animal grace. The boy in the bright blue jeans jumped up on the stage. Lady Stardust sang songs of darkness and disgrace, and he was all right. The band was all together.
Okay, wow, what an interesting song. Definitely very different to the rest of the album in terms of the vibe. This is very more a laid back, stripped down, almost sad song. And to me, the way that I perceived this is David Bowie took on the persona of this guy called Ziggy Stardust, but this song is called Lady Stardust. And if you really look at the lyrics, people stared at the makeup on his face, laughed at his long black hair, his animal grace. This makes me think of, I don't really know how to best word what I'm trying to say, as I don't want to come across as like offensive or just word it wrongly. It feels as though David Bowie's talking about how he feels as though sometimes he likes to feel more feminine, and then sometimes feel more feminine and be the persona of Lady Stardust, but then feel more masculine and take on the persona of Ziggy Stardust. And this song sort of feels like it's talking about, what's the word I'm looking for? It means like androgynous is the word that I'm looking for here, because it's talking about a very androgynous sort of feel and how he sometimes wants to be seen as her. And oh, how I signed when they asked if I knew his name. This makes me think of David Bowie is signing something for someone who wants Lady Stardust, and he's using the word, if I asked if I knew his name, is, I don't know, I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, but it feels like a song talking about being androgynous and wanting to embrace more feminine parts of yourself as well as more masculine parts of yourself. I don't really know if I'm sort of on the right terms with that song, but that's sort of the themes that I got from this, and I really do quite like the start. Really made me think of myself when I was younger. People stared at the makeup on his face, laughed at his long black hair's animal grace. Because the reason I'm saying this is when I was younger, I used to have short hair, and I wasn't interested in makeup, I didn't wear skirts or anything like that, and people would often either at school make fun of me or bully me because of the fact that I wasn't your typical girly girl, whatever that is even supposed to mean. And I really, really resonated with these first two lyrics, just people staring at me and sort of laughing at me for choosing to be different. And I think that's sort of where I don't know, I just felt like this song, especially the first few lines, really sort of resonates with me in terms of, the whole masculine feminine energy thing and just choosing to be yourself. This song was originally titled He Was Alright, a Song for Mark, and it was an early demo tape for a tribute to Mark Bolan, the frontman of T-Rex and a close friend of Bowie. Bolan was a major figure in the glam rock scene, and his song was Bowie's way of tipping his hat to him. So when David Bowie performed this song live at London's Rainbow Theatre in August 1972, he projected images of Mark Bolan onto the stage backdrop. This visual tribute during the performance highlighted the deep connection between the two glam rock icons and underscored the song's homage to Bolan. I feel like I'm totally pronouncing his last name wrong. In the lyrics of this song, there's a line that goes, "I smiled sadly for a love I could not obey." This is thought to echo the phrase, "the love that dared not speak its name," famously associated with Oscar Wilde's trial in 1895. It's a subtle nod to themes of forbidden love and societal constraints, adding depth to the song's narrative. Wow. Damn, that's deep. I smiled sadly for a love I could not obey. Yeah, that just makes me think about how people are still, so against same-sex relationships, or just anything along those lines in the LGBTQ plus community. And how people are still so sadly against those things, and it feels beautiful that there's a song. Well, I say beautiful, it's actually kind of sad, really, isn't it, that there's a song from all these years ago with feelings that are expressed like this, which are still unfortunately expressed in a similar way today. How people honestly haven't really changed after all these times, and after all the albums I've listened to me it just seems as though the world just keeps going in a circle. I mean, I know we literally do, but in terms of opinions, we point something that's wrong in society, we talk about it, and then either something or nothing gets done about it. We go round in a circle, and then we come back to the exact same point. This was my point in OK Computer by Radiohead, Animals from Pink Floyd. I don't know, there's been so many albums where I've pointed it out, wow, this issue that was mentioned all these years ago is still an issue today. Okay guys, we're moving into the next song called Star. piano's so cool here.
Tony went to fight in Belfast. Ruby stayed at home to starve. I could make it all worthwhile as a rock and roll star.
It felt like he was doing like a northern accent at the start there.
Sonny wants to turn the world, but he pretended that he tried. I could make a transformation as a rock and roll star. So inviting, so enticing to play the part. I can make a wild mutation as a rock and roll star. Get it on, I could do with the money. I'm so wiped out with things as they are. I send my photograph to my honey, and I'd come on like a regular superstar. I could make a transformation as a rock and roll star. So inviting, so enticing to play the part. I could play the wild mutation as a rock and roll star. Get it on, yeah. I could do with the money. I'm so wiped out with things as they are. I send my photograph to my honey, and I come on like a regular superstar. I could fall asleep at night as a rock and roll star. I could fall in love alright as a rock and roll star. Rock and roll star. Rock and roll star.
Damn, that was good. I love that. That was so good. I love the whole vibe of that song. Star reflects Bowie's own aspirations and frustrations with fame. The song encapsulates the fantasies of every adolescent dreamer miming into a hairbrush in a suburban bedroom, as well as Bowie's personal feelings about not having fulfilled his potential at that time. Despite being a key track on this album, this song wasn't performed live by Bowie until 1978. It was featured in his stage album and later included in the Welcome to the Blackout Live London 78 release. The song also made appearances during the Serious Moonlight Tour in 1983, where it opened several concerts. That's so cool. What a belter of a song to just have completely decided to not play for a little while. What an actual deep and meaningful song, really. I'm feeling like you haven't achieved what you really wanted to quite yet. This is Hang On To Yourself.
Oh, she's a tongue-twisting song. Come to the show tonight. Bring to the light machine. She wants my heart and all my money. She's a funky fire collector. Laying on electric dreams.
But come on, we really got a good thing going. But come on, if you think we're gonna make it, better hang on to yourself.
Oh, it's so good.
We don't talk much, we just ball and play. But then we move like tigers on Vaseline.
I love his accent.
Well, I'll be the comes up better on a stolen guitar. You're the blessed with the spiders from Mars.
But come on, we really got a good thing going. But come on, if you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself.
Come on. Oh!
This really felt like a rock and roll song. Hell yeah, I love that. Damn. Maybe it's not a lot to point out about what I've listened to, but for some reason this Hang On To Yourself makes me think of either you're in a relationship and you're trying to find that balance between being yourself and, you know, still being with the other person and enjoying your company as well as their company, or Hang On To Yourself makes me think about, I don't know, almost like mental health and feeling as though you're losing reality on who you are and you just have to hang on to that. That's kind of, I don't know, some random thoughts that I had about that song. So apparently the main riff on this song showcases Bowie's ability to blend genres. It draws inspiration from 1950s rock and roll, particularly Eddie Cochran's rockabilly style, and serves as a bridge to the emerging punk sound. This fusion influenced later punk tracks like Ramones, Teenage Lobotomy. Damn, that's so cool. Like, what a way to blend genres as well, by the way, because I said that it sounded really rock and roll, but now that I'm thinking of the song, especially like the bass really makes me think of that pop punk kind of, or I say pop punk, sorry, the new wave of punk that was kind of coming out then. So apparently before David Bowie recorded Hang On To Yourself for this iconic album, he initially released it under the band name Arnold Corns. This group was fronted by his friend, fashion designer Freddie Beretti. Though Beretti didn't actually sing on the recordings, Bowie handled the vocals himself with backing from the band Run-GK, I don't know how to pronounce that. The Arnold Corns version of the song was recorded in February 1971 and released as a single in May of that year. Damn, that's really cool. The lyrics of this song reflect the exhilarating and chaotic lifestyle of rock and roll. Phrases like, "we can't dance, we don't talk much, we just ball and play," convey a sense of irreverence and immediacy, emphasizing physical pleasure over traditional forms of expression. The imagery of moving like tigers on Vaseline adds a surreal touch, capturing the fluidity and counterculture vibe of the glam rock era. You know, saying that line about the tigers and Vaseline thing or whatever it was, makes me really think about how I would love to be more experimental lyrically when I make my own songs. But I feel as though it's one of those things that I often have a hard time with, because it's either, oh, this song makes sense and sounds good, or it's this song has random stuff in it that actually kind of sounds a bit cringe. And I think it depends, maybe it's the demeanor that you go about producing it. Producing it. I just went American. Wow. Obviously David Bowie, you know, he just has this whole aura about himself anyways, that everyone knows who he is and everyone knows that he's an icon. I feel like if I was to do it, just someone, you know, who no one really knows, he's a small-time musician, I don't know, it feels like it might come across a bit cringy, but that also could just be a mindset thing. Anyways, I'm blabbering on. Let's just get into the next song. Ziggy Stardust. Oh yeah!
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly and the Spiders from Mars. He played it left hand, but made it too far. Became the special man, then we were Ziggy's band. Ziggy really sang, screwed up eyes and screwed down hairdo, like some cat from Japan. He could lick 'em by smiling, he could leave 'em to hang. They came on so loaded, man, well hung in snow white tan. So where were the spiders while the fly tried to break our bones? Or just the beer like to guide us?
That vocal effect was so
So we
insane.
fixed about his pants and should we crush his sweet hands? Oh. Ziggy played for time, jiving us that we were voodoo. The kids were just crass, he was the Nas with God-given ass. He took it all too far, but boy could he play guitar. Making love with his ego, Ziggy sucked up into his mind, like a leper messiah. When the kids had killed a man, I had to break up the band. Oh yeah. Ziggy played guitar.
Damn, that was good. Okay, I feel as though this song was sort of really dedicated to us maybe finding out a bit more about the persona of Ziggy Stardust and sort of who that character is. I feel as though that's what David Bowie was sort of building on within this song, and I mean, there's some things which I'm not gonna lie, have just gone straight over my head, but that's, you know, the general vibe that I got from the song, the gist of this song's about Ziggy Stardust. So the name Ziggy was inspired by a tailor's shop Bowie saw from a train. He liked the name because it had an Iggy Pop connotation and thought it was fitting since the character was all about fashion. Despite its popularity, Ziggy Stardust was never released as a single during Bowie's lifetime. However, a live version recorded in 1972 was released as a single in France in 1994 to promote the bootleg album Santa Monica. Ziggy Stardust wasn't just a song, it was the centerpiece of Bowie's concept album. This album, the album that tells the story of Ziggy's rise to fame and eventual downfall, mirroring the fleeting nature of rock stardom. The iconic guitar in this song was crafted by Mick Ronson, Bowie's lead guitarist. This riff became one of the defining sounds of the glam rock, showcasing Ronson's ability to blend catchy melodies with raw energy. The character of Ziggy Stardust was inspired by a real-life musician named Vince Taylor. Taylor was a British rock and roller who, after a breakdown, believed he was a cross between a god and an alien. Bowie took this eccentric persona and transformed it into Ziggy, the flamboyant alien rock star we know today. Damn. Dude, I'm just so blown away at how these songs were written and the inspiration behind them, and then making a whole concept album around this whole theme. Because to me, I typically write music about, you know, what I have experienced and what I've gone through, but to sort of hear a persona of somebody else and then to think of all of these characters and themes and backgrounds yourself and then make a whole album off that is just madly talented, insane. The penultimate song now, Suffragette City. Very rock and roll again.
Leave me alone, you know. Hey man, well Henry, get off the phone. I got to straighten my face. This mellow fat chick just put my spine out of place. Hey man, my school is insane. Hey man, my work's down the drain. Hey man, well she's a total blam blam. She said she had to squeeze a Dutchie, and then she all on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket. Back from Suffragette City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you ain't got time to check it. You know my Suffragette City was out of sight. So it's alright.
I love that brass there.
Hey man, oh Henry, don't be unkind, go away. Hey man, I can't take you this time, no way.
Hey man.
Doogie, don't crash here. There's only room for one. Here she comes, Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you can't afford the ticket.
I love the piano here.
Suffragette City. Oh, don't lean on me, man, 'cause you ain't got time to check it. You know my Suffragette City. Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette
That's
City.
it.
Ooh-ha, Suffragette City. Ooh-ha, Suffragette. Wham down, Benjamin.
Okay. I see.
Suffragette City. Suffragette City. Great, alright. Suffragette City. So fine. Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette City. Oh, Suffragette. Suffragette.
Damn, that was so good. What the hell? That was amazing. I already know what to say. I'm a bit speechless at that. I just love the whole rock and roll vibe of that. I also feel like I don't really know what the song was talking about. I mean, obviously Suffragette City, and, you know, obviously I know who the suffragettes are, but the phrase wham bam, thank you ma'am, in Suffragette City was inspired by jazz bassist Charles Mingus in 1961 album Oh Yeah, which features a track titled Wham Bam, Thank You Ma'am. This expression was commonly used by Mingus's drummer Max Roach when he was unable to express his inner feelings. Okay. The piano riff was heavily influenced by the music of Little Richard. Yeah, I thought that made me reckon that it felt really rock and roll, that. David Bowie admired Little Richard's energetic style and incorporated a similar vibe into the song's drive and rhythm. Before recording the song himself, David Bowie offered the song to the band Mott the Hoople in an attempt to keep them from breaking up. They declined the track but ended up recording another Bowie composition, All the Young Dudes, which became one of their biggest hits. Wow, okay, this is really cool. In a 1972 live performance of this song, David Bowie created a stir by getting between guitarist Mick Ronson's legs and playing his guitar with his teeth, a move that appeared suggestive. The moment was captured by photographer Mick Rock, and Bowie convinced his manager to buy a full-page ad in Melody Maker to showcase the infamous image. Damn, I bet that caused some controversy back then. It would cause controversy now, which is so stupid. The line, "Our Droogie, don't crash here" in Suffragette City is a nod to Anthony Burgess's novel A Clockwork Orange. In the book, Droog means friend in the fictional Nadsat slang. David Bowie was influenced by the novel and its 1971 film adaptation, incorporating elements of its language and style into his work. I have heard about that book before. I'm sure it's like very dystopian, related to like 1984, George Orwell style, along with A Brave New World by Huxley. I feel like I should definitely read that. Sort of a bit off track to an album, isn't it really a book? Okay, so there wasn't much on Spotify about what that was about, so let's have a look on Google instead. So it's a sexually charged glam rock track about Ziggy Stardust prioritising a hedonistic night out over a clingy friend named Henry. Despite its title, it has nothing to do with the women's suffragette movement. Oh, okay. That's all I really wanted to know. Instead, it's a high energy anthem about rock and roll and independence. I love the line, wham bam thank you ma'am. That's so catchy. It's actually so catchy. But unfortunately, guys, we're moving on to the last song now, which is rock and roll. I don't know if I'd get demonetized for saying that, but yeah, kind of feels like a strange, not strange, maybe it's a fitting strange, I don't know what the word is, song to be the last one on the album, because you know the album ends after that. But let's just begin.
Time takes a cigarette, puts it in your mouth.
Okay, very
Roll
different.
on your finger, then another finger, then cigarette. The water wall is calling, it lingers, then you forget. Oh, ho, 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 you're a rock and roll suicide. You're too old to lose it, too young to choose it. And the clock waits so patiently on your song. You walk past the cafe, but you don't eat when you've lived too long. Oh no, 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 you're a rock and roll suicide.
I like that part where it's just the key.
Shit breaks the snarling
Ooh.
as you stumble across the road. But the day breaks instead, so you hurry home. Don't let the sun blast your shadow. Don't let the milk float rob your mind. They're so natural, religiously unkind. Oh no, love, you're not alone. You're watching yourself, but you're too unfair. You've got your head all tangled up, but a fuck can only make you care. Oh no, love, you're not alone. No matter what or who you've been, no matter when or where you've seen, all the knives need to lacerate your brain. I've had my share, I'll help you with the pain. You're not alone. Just turn on with me, and you're not alone. Let's turn on and be not alone. Give me your hands, 'cause you're wonderful. Give me your hands, 'cause you're wonderful. Oh, give me your hands.
Oh wow. I love violence. That was actually a brilliant song to end the album on. Actually, I feel like that fits its place quite well. The start of the song makes me think of David Bowie's own struggles with fame and stardom and being this rock and roll star, and I think he kind of talks about maybe his own experiences as well as how other people in the industry sort of seem to exist, if that kind of makes sense. But then I feel like the song sort of takes a brighter turn in the last half of the song, and it becomes a bit more positive, and I feel as though David Bowie's sort of saying, like, you know, you're not on your own, you can have all of these feelings and thoughts and, you know, whatever other emotions that you feel, and they're all valid and they're all okay, but just remember that you're not on your own. And I feel as though maybe it's even Give Me Your Hands makes it seem like David Bowie sort of saying, like, if you need help, like, I can be here too. Whether that's literally to other people in the industry or, you know, figuratively to people like me who are listening, you know, now, I was going to say hundreds of years later. That's not right. Years later. And I feel as though it turns and has quite a positive ending. That was a great song to end on. There's actually nothing on Spotify about this song, which is kind of crazy, especially since it's the last song on the album. So let's have a look. What is... So it captures the ultimate collapse and destruction of a Ziggy Stardust alter ego, whilst Dublin is a passionate anthemic reassurance to fans that they are never alone. Ziggy, having taken himself to incredible spiritual heights as a prophet, is destroyed by the hollow superficial nature of fame. The title implies a metaphorical that, and the self-destructive toll of rock and roll excess and the voluntary shedding of a larger-than-life public persona. This just feels like one of those albums that just feels kind of, how do I move on with my life after listening to that kind of experience that I've just had. That was an insanely amazing album. I actually did a Google search while looking for some of the other things before and sort of finding out what this album was about. So we're going to have a little bit of a read over here. So it was a concept album and is a rock opera about an androgynous bisexual alien messiah. He arrives on a dying apocalyptic Earth, rises to fame as a legendary rock star, and is ultimately destroyed by his own massive ego and rock and roll excess. I mean, reading this now, it definitely makes sense what I said about Lady Stardust, the song was called, and mentioning the androgynous song in that. So the narrative arc is a dystopian future where Earth has only 5 years left before it is destroyed. And then apparently Ziggy Stardust is sort of like a messenger, using rock music to deliver a message of hope, peace, and love to humanity. He charms the youth and rises to the status of a godlike superstar. But the fall, as his fame grows, Ziggy succumbs to his own ego, hedonism, and celebrity decadence, the ultimate betrayal of his messianic mission. What does that mean? Passionate mission? Oh, the ultimate betrayal of his passionate mission leads to a downfall, and he is ultimately destroyed by his fans on stage. The cultural and theoretical meaning. Beyond this sci-fi story, the album served as a profound commentary on the nature of celebrity. Yeah, that's what I was definitely thinking about this. The music industry and the fragility of fame. Blurring the lines, Bowie used the alter ego to completely transform his visual and personal identity. He donned these inspired costumes, dyed his hair bright red, and began living out of the persona offstage, giving interviews as Ziggy. Damn, that's like next level embracing the persona. Challenging the norms. Through Ziggy, Bowie challenged the hyper-masculine norms of 1970s rock, pushing boundaries around gender and sexuality. Yeah, that's definitely prominent in Lady Stardust. The fall of Bowie. Just like his character, David Bowie realised the toll the persona was taking on his own mind and reality. Wow. In 1973, to save himself from being entirely consumed by the character, Bowie dramatically off Ziggy Stardust during a live concert in London. Wow. That's insane. The fact that he just took on the whole persona of a character that he made and then had to stop being that character because it was becoming too much for him is just like a whole next level of dedication to making music, I think. It's like when actors really go above and beyond, you know, actors such as Christian Bale, he kind of goes above and beyond what he does to succeed and be a great actor. What a great album. I am a bit speechless at this, honestly. I will use my editing self to talk about my ratings on this album and like my favourite songs from this. This is Editing Amy here to tell you about my review and some of my favourite songs from this album. So let's kick it off with my favourite songs. I don't know why I'm being so fancy. So I screenshotted a bunch of my favourite songs, but literally looking back, I've just screenshot like half the album, which just shows how good it is. My favourite songs: Moonage, Daydream, It Ain't Easy, Lady Stardust, just for personal reasons, Hang On To Yourself, Suffragette City, and Rock and Roll. Those were some of my absolute favourites from this album. I have listened to it quite a few times since recording this video already, even though I only recorded it a couple days ago, and I've got to say, this is easily like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 album that is just, wow. Yeah, again, probably is like so ahead of its time, the same as Pink Floyd really, especially with it being from the 70s, and I love being able to listen to old albums and, you know, how they have a lot of the sound effects or the overdubbing of vocals, which nowadays is so easy. You know, all the way back when David Bowie recorded this was just so much harder than it is nowadays, and I just want to take some time to really appreciate that about the album, is its complex nature and the themes that it talks about, and instrumentally, you know, how complex it is, especially for its time. Yeah, I'm still speechless over being able to listen to this album. But since it is the end of the video, I want you guys to comment. I want you guys to comment spaceship if you made it to the end of this video, purely just based off of the whole space theme in this album. Also, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help the channel because it allows me to figure out what content you guys like, so I can start posting more of that stuff, and it just, you know, it just helps boost the channel, get us a bit more recognition and stuff, and helps us create a nice little community on here. Speaking of communities, I do actually have a Patreon. In my Patreon, there's a bunch of exclusive videos that you can only get over there. I do a lot of reactions to albums and stuff. I also have reacted to YouTube videos explaining the narrative behind Radiohead or MF Doom. I've watched music videos over there. Patreon's sort of the place that I go to when I'm trying to explore more content that could potentially be more copyright striked, I guess is the right word for that. You know, watching music videos is really hard to react to on YouTube. You can just full on get a strike for that. It doesn't even just get copyrighted, it just gets a strike. So, you know, Patreon's a bit more of a free platform where I can do those things and not have to worry about a strike or anything like that. So if that is something that you're interested in, there will be a link in the description down below. Without further ado, guys, this was the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars by David Bowie.